Okay, we are live. Hey, everybody. I am just going to hit the record button here. I am Lisa Limita with Rise Leadership Circle, and I am here today with Melissa Bauknight. Am I pronouncing your name correctly, Melissa?
I was wondering if you're going to get it right because it's like a 50-50 shot. Yeah, that's correct.
I did it. Okay.
Good job.
Really excited to introduce you guys to Melissa. So she's part of our interview series, How She Did It. And we're going to go behind the scenes on her business today. So Melissa's a life and business coach. She's the founder of the Ripple Connection, and she's the executive director with Beauty Counter. She's committed to helping women come alive and nurture their whole selves, which is like something I am super passionate about talking about and just really excited to jump in. So Melissa, did I miss anything?
I mean, of who I am. We only have 20 minutes. I don't know that I can get through all of it. Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that I'm most excited, one of my favorite topics to talk about is what we're going to talk about today is investing in yourself and really prioritizing you. So when I got the email to do this, I was like, this is just so perfect because it's what I want I want women to know this. I mean, I want all people, but I really speak to women. It's just like, this is your best investment you're ever going to make is in yourself.
So true. So for you guys, if you're just joining us, we've been doing this series. This is the fourth interview in a series of 10. We'll be live tomorrow and then again Monday through Friday next week. And we're interviewing 10 amazing women who have built 6- and 7-figure businesses. And we wanted to go behind the scenes and show you what it really took to create a business, how they invested in themselves, how they invested in their business, how they leveraged money, where they started from, because I think a lot of times people just have this idea when they look at somebody who's having a lot of success now, they think it was easy for her, or she's different than me, or I could never do that, right? But all of us started where we started. We started at the beginning. And so we wanted to do this series, and in conjunction with Kayla and I over at Rise Leadership Circle just announced that our new grant giveaway is open. It's called the Rise Up Grant, and we're giving away 5 $2,000 grants for entrepreneurs who are ready to invest in themselves, who could just really use a little bit of help and support so they can invest in their business and they can grow. So whether they just want to, hire a team member, or whether they just want to pay themselves because they've been investing everything back into the business, or they're at square one, or they're moving to the next level. It doesn't matter. You guys can use it for whatever you want. I'll share more on that later. But stay to the end and I'll tell you how you can apply for that. But Melissa, if you're cool, let's go ahead and just jump right in.
Let's do it.
So I would love to hear, okay, so executive director with Beauty Counter, and then now you've started, you're also a life and business coach, and you've started the Ripple Connection. What is the Ripple Connection?
So it's a community for women to really be able to get resourced, just like you're talking about. So it's really a place where women get to come and take ownership. They get to learn how to take ownership of who they are. I believe that our Ripple, which I love that it's rise up, ripple out is what you're calling it. So I was like, perfect. That's our Ripple, right? Like when we come home to ourselves, when we own our gifts and we choose them and we decide to make them alive in the world, that is our Ripple. And I believe that that is the thing that connects us all. When we're all like, when we're willing to step into our soul's work, when we're willing to just be the light that we are, that's the human connection, right? We just get to like show up authentically. So it's an online community. It's a group and private coaching business. And it's my baby. It's just like something I'm so in love with.
I love it so much. I love that we have it in common. And that was a vision Kayla and I had from the beginning of starting Rise, is this ripple effect, right? It's like that throwing that image of throwing a pebble in the ocean and how it ripples out. And that's exactly what we say. It's like when one woman believes in herself enough to invest, or just to say, like, I get to have this life. When she stands in her power, it creates a ripple effect just by being who she is. And I think that's so incredible. So let's help people understand, what were some of the resources for you that you invested in when you were first getting started as an entrepreneur?
It's interesting. I did recently, I was like, I want to map out my journey of just all the things that I've there's like the beingness of ourselves and there's the doingness of ourselves. And so all the things that I've done along the way, it was like a 3-page document of like, then I took this course and then I did this thing. And it was pretty amazing to see it on paper. But the first thing I did is I started to do personal growth work. So this was before I was in medical device sales. So I had a successful corporate career and I invested in myself. It was, I think, $500 at the time for a weekend course. And I was like, I can't believe I'm spending $500 on this. This is bonkers. Like, I better get this back. Like, I was like, I can't believe this is so much money. Now it's like hilarious because the more you invest, the more you're comfortable with it and it just keeps growing. But at the time it was terrifying for me. So that was step one, was just like starting to invest in myself for my own personal growth.
Love that so much. And that often is where we start. It's like it's that nudge of beginning to see ourselves as something more or something different, or realizing that maybe the construct we're living in or the paradigms we're living in, like, oh, maybe actually the world can work differently. And maybe I am actually a choice. That was kind of my experience. And so definitely would say that I mirror that, investing in personal growth first.
Mm-hmm.
So in the beginning, I mean, so you were already working in medical sales at the time. So would you say that your current like career, so to speak, sort of funded the business that you then ended up starting?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. What was the journey like? What was like, how did you go from this career in medical sales to Beauty Counter?
It was part of just learning, like you were saying, that I have a choice in the life that I'm creating. I have a choice in the thoughts that I'm thinking. I have a say in how this goes. And I don't have to do it in the conventional way that I thought that I needed to do it. And at the same time, I always have had a very high priority in my personal health. And so I was working out a lot, like fitness was a priority. Watching what I eat was not watching, but just like nourishing my body, it was a priority. And I didn't realize the impact of environmental toxins as a part of the whole picture of self-care. And so once I started to dig into that, I was like, ooh, there's an opportunity to make a lot of life changes in this department. And Beauty Counter is a company that is really, that's our mission, is to change the entire personal care industry, to give people more supportive legislation so that harmful ingredients aren't in products. And so I was like, well, this feels really supportive of my own personal journey. So this is actually going to be for me. And then the more that I started to realize how I want to be supported in this world and nourished as a woman and as a professional, I was like, oh my gosh, this checks the community box. This checks the social impact box. This checks me having freedom and flexibility box. This checks me being empowered as a leader and learning about myself in that capacity. So I was like, what if I gave this a shot? Like, what if I really gave this a shot? What could be possible? And this is a big thing that I think is important to know, is having, it's like you said, you watch another woman do it and that's your permission. And instead of being like, oh, it's easy for her, I can't, it's to be like, oh, she's proof that I can. And I had a friend that was proof that I could. And I was like, I know her, she's doing it, I could do that. And so I used her as my vision holder. I was like, you hold this vision for what I can see possible.
I love that so much. Did you ever have like family or friends who were like, you're crazy, you're leaving this stable job to go and do this entrepreneur thing? You know, it doesn't make sense. You should stay for the benefits. You should stay for like, did anyone have that conversation with you?
My husband.
Yeah, of course. Right. And I think
and a lot of people, but really when you talk, and I've just started talking more about this, is like, how do you get to a point where you're so sure that this is what you want, desire, need, like that you're willing to come up against any obstacle and still move forward?
Yeah. Yes, it's that conviction, right? And that, something I hear from entrepreneurs a lot is when they're leaving, maybe their 9 to 5 to go and do this entrepreneur thing that they have this vision for, and it just feels like a soul mission for them, right? It's just like they can't not do it. It's just calling them forward. But one of the big struggles is often, just people in their life not understanding their choices, or not understanding like this risk, quote unquote risk that they're taking to leave security. So I think it just really helps to normalize some of these conversations. I'm like, yeah, we've been there.
Well, and the other thing is, I was in medical sales, so I just happened to survive like 4 different, I don't even know, 5, 6 acquisitions, layoffs. Like there was constant change in my industry. Every single company I worked for either got acquired or acquired somebody else. There were layoffs, there were changes. I mean, I'm like, this isn't just because I've made it doesn't mean that this is stable. Like this is not stable at all, actually. And so there's the, I mean, and I think this depends on the industry you're in, but there's this perceived stability.
Mhm. Yeah, I think it's perceived. I think that's right. And, the truth is like when you, I really believe that when you're committed to just following your heart, creating value out into the world in a way that is like really aligned with who you are, that is your security. Because once you understand how to do that, you can do it again and again and again in whatever way is like serving your, your current soul's mission, if you want to say it that way.
Yeah.
Um, I'm curious, what are some ways, like, as you started to, realize that, yeah, this is a path I'm taking, I'm pursuing this life as an entrepreneur. What are some ways that you significantly invested to up level in your business as you began to get serious and grow?
So, I mean, the first thing that I did was I hired a life coach to help me transition out of corporate powerfully. So that was an 8-month journey of working with her to just get my mind, mostly my mind in the right place, but really to have an aligned strategic plan as well. So it was like, probably 80% mind and 20% strategic aligned plan. And so that was, are we talking numbers or what are we just talking like?
No, you don't have to talk numbers. You can,
So
but yeah.
yeah, so that was significant. I mean, that was terrifying. I wanted to throw up. I was like, I can't believe I'm doing this. Again, every time I invest, I'm like, I can't believe I'm doing this. And then you realize, give yourself a grace period to let it just settle in. So that was the first thing I did. And then I hired a virtual assistant. I don't know that that was a significant investment, but it was a significant step in relinquishing some control. So that was maybe, a couple $100s a month, but I started to really look at like, what brings me joy? What's the highest and best use of my time? What could I really do without ever having to do ever again? And how do I get help with that? And so I started that, but the control piece was a big part of it. Of like, I'm going to trust somebody else to handle some things in my business.
Yeah, definitely. What opened up for you when you did hire on that support?
It was awesome. I was like, oh, thank God I don't have to do these things anymore. And I had more space and I had more time. Like, I'm such a believer in building a business in a feminine way, which really is cultivating more ease, it's cultivating more balance, more flow, more joy, support, community. And I don't believe that you have to hustle your way to wanting to just burn out and quit. Like that's just not the way to do it. And so it gave me space to breathe, to actually enjoy my business.
Yeah, that's amazing. And when we're in that space of being able to actually enjoy our business, like that's when we're the most creative. That's when we're in the position to really make the biggest ripple effect, so to speak,
Totally.
because we can just bring our full selves, right? We don't have to hustle and grind our way into exhaustion in order to have success. And that's really shifting. And I think these conversations are also really helping shift the narrative, which is why we love bringing this to the forefront.
So true.
Yeah. What are some things for you that you wish every entrepreneur knew about investing in their business?
I mean, that it's 1,000,000% worth it. And it's a non-negotiable to me. I mean, it is, if you want something different than what you have, because not everybody's like, I need to be a millionaire. That's not everyone's dream, right? But if you're sitting in a place and you're like, I feel unsettled, I feel unfulfilled, I want something more, it's a huge component of actualizing that something more.
Absolutely. It's seeing ourselves as worthy of having that support, worthy of making that investment. And then once we do, when we take on that extra level of support, it feels like things multiply so much faster. Like things just seem to take off. We're not meant to do this alone. We're not, Kayla and I say all the time, like it's not climbing the ladder of success where you're the only one at the top. That's not the way it actually works for those of us who choose to do business in this way, right? It's actually like,
Yeah.
yeah, we all get to go together, and it's the collaboration, it's the support we get to have that creates that level of success.
Yep. So true.
Yeah. So how did you make the transition to adding, so you became an executive director at Beauty Counter. Did you then add the life coaching component on top of that? Or did the two kind of happen simultaneously for you?
No, I added it on later. So my pattern is like the get resource from what you have. So have it, grow what you grow, make the thing. And then if you have a side business, I'm not one to just like flip everything over and just, I take risks, but I'm not a risky person. And so I stabilized Beauty Counter. I got it to a place where I'm like, okay, this is stable. And I can resource from that to create my new business. And I always knew it would be a piece of what I offered. I always knew that coaching would be something that I did. I practice patience, which could be a whole series, just really listening to myself to when I felt ready enough is what I would say. Cause I think you can get ready to get ready forever and ever and ever. And so I knew that I wanted to do something more. So I hired a business strategy coach very specifically for that. I interviewed 12 coaches until I was a hell yes about this woman. And of course, she was the most expensive one. And I was like, why do I have such expensive taste? But what I loved about her was she was a heart-centered leader that taught how to sell high ticket packages in a manner of bringing forth your highest and best value. And so I was like, okay, well, I trust myself and I trust her. And I trust that I am on this journey to bringing forth something really beautiful and valuable to the world. Like, I will make this back up. Like, this is not about the money. This is about me being in community with women that are committed to showing up big in their lives.
Thank you. But go ahead.
Through that process, through working with her, I had an idea that I wouldn't even launch till now, honestly. And of course, the universe has a funny way of giving you what you need when you need it. And so I did a webinar and 3 women were like, so what if you just coached me now? I'm like, oh, so I don't have to like be ready in April. So I could do it now. So I just started.
Amazing.
I figured it out. I figured it out, as I go.
Totally. You just start, you jump, and then you kind of sew the parachute on the way down and you figure it out, right? That's how we actually do it. It's not like, oh, I'm sorry, my timeline says April, so check back with me then. Like, no, you're ready to go. Let's do it, right? You said a couple of things I just want to touch on that I think are really important. And one is like, it's not just the investment, because sometimes people think, well, I invested, so now I should just like have it all, right? What you said is I trusted myself. I trusted her. And like, I made this investment in a way that I knew I was going to show up and get the most out of it. That's the key, right? It's not like just go invest and you're magically going to have results. It's that level of trust in yourself and that willingness to be like, okay, I'm going to come to this with a level of trust. I'm going to show up. I'm going to give it my all. And I know I'm going to create a return on investment. We're not just talking about just wildly spending money. It's creating a return. And I think like anytime you invest in your own expansion, the ROI is the greatest, right? On that money versus, not that it's wrong to put it like in the stock market, you can do that too. But for me in my life personally, the ROI on personal growth investments, things that expanded me, have always been the most beneficial and payoff.
It's not about like, I want to earn abundantly. Like, I'm very committed to that, but honestly, like, peace of mind, joy, and those things are, and this is going to sound cliche, but they're honestly very priceless. Like, I used to have horrible anxiety, like doing something like this. I'd be like popping Xanax, like preparing, writing out everything I needed to say. And that's a much longer conversation, but my investing in myself has given me confidence. It's giving me trust. It's giving me peace of mind. It's given me a ability to make a difference. It's given me love for myself. It's given me, those things, I'd pay any amount of money for, honestly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I also heard you mention community a couple of times, and it's something that Kayla and I believe in so much is, having community and support around you is also priceless. It's everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100.
So I'm curious if you had, we talked about we're giving away these $2,000 grants right now. I'm curious for you at this level you're at in your business, if you had a cash injection of $2,000 in your business currently, how would you invest it today? What would that look like now?
I would pay my online business manager. I hired an online business manager. So again, another like, I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm doing this decision. Very, very stretchy for me. So I would utilize it towards her services. So she's helping me with marketing, PR, messaging, SEO strategy, building courses. I mean, you name it. She's just such like a gift from God. So I would utilize it towards having support.
Amazing. Having the right team is absolutely everything.
Yeah.
You are so inspiring. This is such a wealth of information. And I just so appreciate you for hanging out and just letting us see like what it was like for you and how you've invested, how you've made decisions for your business and your team. I know that you're inspiring so many women, which is really incredible. And I just want to share with you guys again, I know I mentioned about the grant. If you want to apply, all you have to do, I'll drop the link here below. After we're done with the live, I'll come back and drop it in. And then all you have to do is click the link and you can fill out the application process. It's really simple and you can apply to win one of these grants. You can use it this is a no strings attached money. So you can use it in your business however you see fit. And, we're interested in women who want to create a ripple effect in the world, who want to invest in themselves so they can go out and create this beautiful ripple effect. So that's available. Feel free to go and connect. We added this year too. I'll just mention for you guys, you can, we're going to announce the winners live at our retreat at the end of the month. And we're offering tickets up to that retreat for $1 if you wanted to be there live. So that is available too. But Melissa, thank you so much. Is there anything else that you want to share that I missed or that we didn't get to before we disconnect today?
The thing that I want you to hear is that you're worth it. Like that's the thing to get of all of these conversations, all the logistics, all the like stuff. It's like, you're worth it. You are, every single person. And if you are in community, if you are listening, instead of thinking of other people as competition, just let us be proof of concept. Know that everyone has fought their own darkness. We have been willing to do the work, the hard work, and that it's possible. It just is. And so I really, like, from my whole heart, that's like my life's mission in the world, is that women understand their worth. It really is. So apply, invest, like show up for yourself, because at the end of the day, it's not out here, it's in here. And I know that I can count on me, and that's one of the best gifts you can give yourself.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. That was really powerful. I'm going to let us end on that note because I could not say that better. So amazing. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Come and apply. And best of luck with all the new stuff happening in your business. I can't wait to follow along and stay connected.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.